Fellas, AC here. Welcome to another review. And I do apologize, I've been away for a while. It's work, Sometimes work just takes over. So, I'm going to review one of those fragrances that many regard as a masterpiece. Dior's Eau Sauvage Parfum. I also think this is a masterpiece. So, this was released in 2012. And the parfumeur is François Dimaschi. Excuse me. I've already got a spray and on top of my wrist. And I just want to use the same arm because I'm in the mood to do two reviews. Let's see. Okay, so this one came out in 2012. And you know what? I think this and this, which I've reviewed, Dior Eau Parfum, are the best work done by François Dimaschi in the designer line, Dior. And this fragrance has been reformulated. I haven't smelled the reformulated one. In passing, I've smelled it in the stores. I think it's equally nice, but I haven't had a chance to analyze it in great detail. But this bottle itself is a 2013 vintage. So it's been sitting there for a while and it's matured, but it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So how does it start? It starts off with a very sparkly barbershop-like feel. Yeah. So what you smell is bergamot along with a very synthetic, lemony, fizzy type note. It's heady on. I did some research to see how it smells like, couldn't find it. But that's what it is, sparkly bergamot with oak moss, lavender and slight hint of vetiver. Lavender, oak moss and that sparkly lemony bergamot is what I smell. But the moment you smell it, you will know that you're smelling a barbershop fragrance. And that makes sense because actual Eau Sauvage was released by Dior back in 1971, I believe, if I'm not wrong. This is a flanker to the one that was released in 1970. I haven't had a chance to smell the vintage, but I imagine it was a barbershop fragrance as well. So that's the opening. The dry down is when lots of things happen. The vetiver takes prominence. There's this beautiful citron fruit. So it's still citrusy vetiver with lavender and it becomes a little bit more woody green. So there's petitgrain and this miraculous, this magical note of myrrh. Now I like myrrh because myrrh as an essential oil gives me this amazing clarity. And I believe in all these things. I do have what you call oil diffusers in my house because I like my house to smell amazing. So whenever I'm in the mood to do a little bit of meditation, I go for either myrrh or I go for sandalwood. Both those smells give me a little bit of clarity and just, completely clouded brain syndrome goes away. And that's why I think this fragrance has those attributes. It's a very sober, very calm, clear and confident fragrance. Very sober. This is not a frivolous fragrance. So myrrh is a bit oily and deep and resinous when you wear it in winter. In summer, myrrh is not as oily and not as resinous. That's the difference I've seen. And I've worn it in every season. In fact, I've worn it in different countries as well. This bottle has traveled with me. And this myrrh is, along with the petitgrain and the citron fruit and lavender, creates this amazing, very unique smelling barbershop fragrance. And I love barbershop fragrances. So that's the journey of the fragrance. Yeah? Extremely well blended. That's the first pro. So pros and cons. Number one pro, absolutely blended to perfection. Beautiful fragrance, beautifully blended. It's a poetry, right? Number two, the image. This fragrance, if you're in the mood to go and deliver something, this fragrance will give you that little boost. It makes I feel very confident, very clear in the head, very calm when I wear this fragrance. I wear this a lot to my important meetings, work, that sort of thing. Yeah, you can see this is a 200 ml bottle, so you can imagine how much I've worn this. It gives me tremendous sense of purpose. I always have a sense of purpose, but it just gives me that additional confidence. And it's a very sober fragrance. Nobody will ever mistake you for being in the mood to party when you wear this to work. So excellent work fragrance. So number three is the performance, absolutely stellar performance. You'll never complain about longevity or projection. At least 12 hours of performance in terms of longevity, at least 2 to 3 arms length of projection. So if you go heavy, you'll really fill the room. With this, the trick is don't go more than 2 to 4 sprays. Yeah. So decent projection, very nice sillage. This is not a deep resinous thick oud type fragrance, so you wouldn't get constant wafts of it. But when you move, I guarantee you'll smell it. So a couple of sprays under your shirt just to give you the confidence that you can still smell your fragrance. Perfect. So brilliant performance. Number 4, Pro. This sort of fragrances are very rare. There's a little air of exclusivity about Eau Sauvage Parfum, just like Dior Eau Parfum. This is serious manly fragrance with exclusivity written all over it. Similarly, Eau Sauvage Parfum has this exclusivity. In the designer game, this is one of those fragrances that's unmatched. If you like masculine barbershop fragrances. Those are the 4 pros. Downsides. I think that oak moss and that myrrh can put people off and makes the fragrance smell a bit mature. I don't think this is a 25 or 30 years, less than 25 years old fragrance. This is probably 25 plus, even 30 plus. This is sober, this is slightly serious, this is slightly, mission critical, focused, I should say. Very focused guy. So this is not your date night fragrance, although you can wear this, but it doesn't fit that date night. Barbershop fragrances don't, apart from 1725, which I've reviewed as well. So that is probably a downside, that this fragrance has this sort of barrier to adoption. In spite of everybody talking about it beautifully, this could be a barrier. There's just one downside I can think of. The other, one of the pros I forgot to mention is the versatility. I can wear this in any season. It smells different in winter, it smells different in summer. This is kind of mid-spring. It smells a little bit different. It smells more aromatic in summer. In winter, it smells more resinous and deep. I wouldn't say rich, but deep. Yeah. And, none of the notes come through. It's basically a very well blended juice. So what you get is a sum of its part, and the sum of its parts is greater than its parts. So that's the scent. In terms of occasions, I would say this is a perfect daytime fragrance. I think this smells better when the sun's out. But that doesn't necessarily mean this is a summer scent. It just has to be a daytime scenario. It smells much better, in my experience, on me at least. What else? Perfect for office. If you wear a suit, if you have a position of authority, this gives that impression to people. And I've seen this many times, that you're a thorough professional. Sublime confidence, really grounded. Another thing is, why I said grounded is, myrrh in this one smells a little bit like soil, earth. So it's a very salt of the earth kind of a fragrance. This is a very grounded, very normal sort of a person who has great taste. That's the impression you will cast. So amazing for work. If you can afford it, absolutely. Value for money. I would say value for money is medium. Yeah, because Dior fragrances normally you can't get them in discounters. So this 120, 150 ml, I believe. This is a 200 or 150, I can't remember. 150 ml will set you back by about, the new version, by about 120 pounds. So it's decent value for money. I wouldn't say tremendous value for money, but then you're getting a very fine fragrance. Yeah. So marks out of 10. I'm removing just 1 mark because of that barrier I talked about. In spite of people talking about so highly about this fragrance, it's not suitable for all age groups. Yeah. But see if it works for you. It's slightly serious. So marks out of 10, 9 out of 10. Hope you like the review, fellas. Take care. Bye-bye.